right, Chris Romanski, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Uh,
Ava Hart.
yes, Ava Hart. It's my real last name. People always ask.
It's a great movie star name.
Oh, I know. Thank you. So you are a writer, actor, producer, and director, correct?
I
Dabbled in them all.
d- dabbled. I haven't technically directed anything yet.
Okay.
Um, but all the other ones, yes.
Awesome. I've seen some of your stuff. I think you're really talented, by the way.
Oh, thank you, Ava.
So the other day we talked a little bit, and I wanted to ask again, how did you make your way into the industry, and how old were you? I didn't ask that the other day.
Right. So I made my way into the industry when I was 22. Moved to Los Angeles from Boston, and got an internship at Comedy Central, working for Debbie Liebling when she was running Comedy Central at the time. Um, and I basically started with I became sort of like her personal assistant. Like I ended up like grocery shopping for her, picking out paints for her office. Then I ended up Christmas shopping for people that she like her friends and her family, and then painted her bathroom at her house.
Nice.
And then she's like, "What do you want to do?" I'm like, I want to work in TV, like." And she's like, "Well, do you want a job in this show called That's My Bush?" And that was my first job. It
Awesome.
was a PA on That's My Bush at
Nice.
22.
22? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Do you think age matters a lot? Do you think anyone can come into this right now and work their way into it?
For what in particular?
Even when it comes to just if they want to get into the writing game, say they've been acting and it's not working and they want to get into the writing part of it.
Yeah, I think your work is going to speak for itself. So if you have a good script, I don't care how old you are. Like, I'll hire you to write on a show. Like, I mean, I don't think you'll be, your credit won't be, be an EP on the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think if your work will sort of speak for itself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with that. I try to tell people the age thing doesn't matter when it comes to acting, writing, any of that. I think if you really want it, you can go for it.
Yeah, it really doesn't. Like, I don't know. I think maybe a little bit more so for acting, only because if you're like, hey, I want to go up for roles for a wife that has a 10-year-old kid, you're like, well, that might be difficult if you're a 6-year-old woman because
People still
but
try.
yeah, I think for writing and producing and directing, no, it doesn't matter.
Awesome. And then I said, you've written characters for yourself a lot, which is something that I've recently started doing.
Yeah.
What type of personality does the character usually have that you write for yourself?
The type of person. So I'm like kind of nuts, kind of antsy and anxious, and sort of flailing, and physical. So I usually write characters that are super physical,
Mm-hmm.
and a little bit crazy, but they're all basically just versions of myself.
Yeah.
Like the attributes that I think that I have as a person, I try and add into that, a piece of that into the character.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know how to play anything else. And I think it's sort of like a lot of people. I think we were saying this before. Like, I think there's very few people that can play all of it, like the Meryl Streeps of the world.
We all wish we could.
Yeah, they can do all of, like Denzel Washington can do it all. I think Jamie Foxx pretty much can do it all. Like Leonardo DiCaprio. Like, there's not a lot of people that can do all of it.
Yeah.
So you just kind of find what you're really good at, and then maybe what you're not comfortable playing.
Mm-hmm.
Like the opposite of like who you see yourself as. I think we talked about that before too. Like,
Yeah, I wrote that. It's also written down for today. You said you took a class on essence.
yeah, it was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And that just sort of helped me as a writer and a performer. And probably when I direct, it'll definitely help me direct as well. So it's just basically finding like that adjective that is you, like that that word that best describes you as a person, which probably goes hand in hand with you as an actor. And mine was fluidity, which just constantly moving, like I was just saying, like, and not really being able to sit still, which is sort of my personality anyway. And the opposite of that is stagnation, which is like a dead person or a person who's paralyzed
Total
or
opposite.
a person who's mute. Like that, I think I'd play that really, really well too.
Yeah. And then you also said maybe go around. I don't know if like ask other people what they think of you and what you would be good at playing.
Yeah.
That'd be a good thing to do also.
Yeah. I think especially friends like, boyfriend or
Mhm.
parents or really good friends that you think would be honest because, well, you want people to go, you're good at everything. Because it's like, thank you. That's very nice of you to say. But like, I want like the truth of like, what do you think if you're going to pick one thing that I'd be good at playing, what would it be? And then maybe you can give people options and go, oh, like, and most of the time, like your good friends will go, oh, definitely this,
Hmm.
and then you go, oh, okay, that's how people see me.
Yeah.
It's just really like trying to figure out how people see you in the world and try and add that into a character that you can play.
Yeah. A lot of people see me as different things that I wouldn't expect. I'll usually be like, I can't do Girl Next Door, and then they're like, yes, you can. So I got to see what other people think, not just myself.
Right, right.
Crazy. And then there's a big one that I've been asking everyone is dealing with rejection. Most people are saying if you can't deal with rejection, then you shouldn't be in this industry. And that's something that you agree with as well. And then
Yeah,
even when you get a yes, you're still kind of getting no's at the same time in this industry.
yeah. The yes and no are really big because they'll go like, love this script, and you
Mm-hmm.
go, great, and then but we don't love this part, and that could be your favorite part,
Yeah.
and you kind of have to make that decision. Do you want to still do this? Does it change it too much for you that takes away from the show that it is? Sometimes that happens, and sometimes you can make a conceit and go like, what's more important to you, getting the show on the air or sticking to your guns and going, no, I'm not going to change it. And I found that unless it's a really big thing, to me, I can give them what they want without losing, for the most part, what I love about it. And usually I'll add in extra things that I know that they'll go like, this is too, usually I go, this is, people will say about my stuff, this is too much. And I'll go, great. And I'll get rid of that stuff. And I go like, great. I still get to keep in, I'll overdo it. So then I can keep that stuff.
Nice. They tell us to do that with acting too. Overdo it some when you go in because you can always tone it down.
Yeah. Yeah. I, you know, yes and no. I, sometimes in a casting session, I'll go like, oh my God, like I wanted to fucking shoot myself. Like, I don't even know how to bring people down sometimes that are so big. You know what I mean? Where you're like, I don't know if you can get to an actual grounded place.
Sure.
Um, but yeah, sometimes I think that's good
Yeah.
because otherwise you're not really acting if you're not really
Yeah.
taking it to another level.
Extreme. Very true.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, what's your favorite thing you've worked on? Written what? Like favorite thing you've written?
Favorite thing I've worked on. So I think those are two different things for
Yeah.
me. Favorite thing I've worked on is Blue Mountain State. It was the most fun I've ever had on a show. It felt like a family. I
Yeah.
learned so much. It was fun. It felt like we were creating something not just from me writing it or my partner writing it, Eric, but I felt like I was taking pieces of my life
Mm-hmm.
that were happening in the moment, and also pieces of my life that happened in college and in high school. So that was the favorite thing that I wrote
Mm-hmm.
wrote on,
Yeah.
wrote or created. And then I don't know, there's like, I had a blast working on this show called Big Time in Hollywood, Florida. It was one of my favorite shows. It was so fucking crazy. And I was a writer and I acted a little bit in it. And then the most fun I think I've ever had on set for one day was work, because it was such an adrenaline rush, was um, on Tour de Pharmacy.
Mm-hmm.
I was been naked quite a few times on TV, and that was, I mean, I had John Cena lift me over his head. He ripped my clothes off and then lift me over his head and spun me around, and that was maybe the most fun because the adrenaline was so high It was like 150 people in the crew
I gotta go look that up.
and extras. I don't, you know what, Ava, you don't really need, it's fine. You're not.
We'll look up everything. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that was fun.
You said you're working on something now. Can you discuss anything that you're working on in the process?
Yeah. I'm working on a show called Kill the Orange-Faced Bear. It's into TBS right now. They're deciding whether or not they're going to shoot the pilot or potentially maybe pick up the show because of COVID. So I don't know where it's at because of what's happening. But yeah, it's about a guy whose girlfriend gets eaten alive by a bear. And then he goes out into the woods to kill this bear with his girlfriend's identical twin sister and his best friend. But then you discover that the bear talks as well.
What?
And it's super like, it's like Search Party meets like The Killing, because it's like they're hunting for a killer, but it's a bear, and the joke is how it's all intertwined. How much it is intertwined is sort of like the joke of the show.
Yeah.
That everything's connected, and it's really just goes. It's about grief and revenge and what those look like on people, and how it's so different, and how people act. That maybe they look guilty because they're not acting a certain way, or maybe they're not sad enough. Maybe they're too happy. Yeah. It's crazy. It's
awesome.
Crazy. It's a crazy show.
Well, hope that comes to fruition. That sounds awesome.
Oh my God. Me too.
I'm excited. Other than that, I think maybe, do you have anything that you could say, a good word of advice to everyone just getting into this industry that we haven't said?
Don't second guess yourself. I would say, if you want, especially as a writer, if you want to write something, write it. Write it.
Do it.
Because if not, and you're a writer, it's going to swim around in your head. It's going to cloud all the other things up. Get it out. Just get it out. Yeah. I would say, because don't not write something because you're afraid to write it. Like, write it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not really that really good of advice, but
no, that's great advice. It's good.
It's also like if you're like, I always wanted to write a show about this, but it sounds so crazy.
Someone else is going to take it if you don't do it.
Yeah. Right, someone's going to take it. It's also just going to be this thing like, why? And then you're going to write something that you're excited about too. Don't write something because you're like, and start off with writing what you know. Take a version of what you know, because no one's going to be able to pitch something that you know better than you are.
Yeah.
Because usually people go, for the most part, if they want to buy this thing, they're buying it because, like, who else is going to write this? It's coming from this guy's life. Who else would write it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate this advice.
You're welcome.
Yeah. I think that is all I need. I appreciate it so much. I'm going to stop recording now.